terrifying movie villains look like in real life.
Christ, who lives and reigns with the Father and the Holy Spirit. Damien!
1. Linda Blair played a possessed 12-year-old in The Exorcist. At 14 years old, Linda Blair haunted viewers with her performance in The Exorcist after special effects makeup artist Dick Smith transformed Blair into a nightmarish demon. Rick Baker, Smith's assistant on The Exorcist, told The Washington Post in 2007 that Smith revolutionized special effects in film. Dick showed that makeup wasn't just about making people look scary or old, but had many applications. He figured out a way to make the welts swell up on Linda's stomach, to make her head spin around, and he created the vomit scenes, Baker said. Baker isn't the only one to acknowledge Smith's impact. The special effects veteran earned an honorary award at the Academy's Governor's Awards in 2011 for his trailblazing work. 2. Some elements of Voldemort's look were digitally added or, like his nose, removed. Ralph Fiennes played Voldemort in the Harry Potter films. The character was so scary that he was referred to as He Who Must Not Be Named, and the filmmakers lived up to that legacy with a terrifying transformation. Unlike some of the other films on the list, the makeup crew wasn't under budget constraints, but rather time limitations. The child actors could only be on set for an allotted amount of time each day, which meant everyone had to adjust to accommodate that schedule. With only 2 hours to transform Fiennes, makeup artist Mark Coulier, who has won 2 Oscars, got creative to get the look done in time. Coulier spoke about the look with Bustle in 2016, saying, "The nose is digital. We did eyebrow blockers. In order to get continuity in a short span of time, I painted the veins all on the computer, then I printed them all as temporary tattoo transfers. It worked really well. We covered his whole head in veins in about 10 minutes.
How's this for a wet dream?
3. Robert Englund originated the role of Freddy Krueger in A Nightmare on Elm Street. Robert Englund starred in A Nightmare on Elm Street as Freddy Krueger, the vengeful spirit of a serial killer who'd slash his victims to death with a razored glove. Englund reprised the role for various sequels and spin-offs, crafting Freddy's legacy as an iconic villain in the horror genre. Jackie Earle Haley replaced Englund in the 2010 remake. Englund spoke to Entertainment Weekly in 2020 about returning to his role, saying, "I don't think I'll ever don the makeup again. I'm a little too old for that. I'm a little long in the tooth to play Freddy now. I think if I was doing it, it would be more like Freddy vs. Viagra."
Ship has been beyond the boundaries of our universe. Who knows where it's been? And what it's brought back with it.
4. Sam Neill's character in Event Horizon gouged his own eyes out. Best known for his work in Jurassic Park and on Peaky Blinders, actor Sam Neill played Dr. William Weir, the antagonistic spaceship designer in the sci-fi horror flick Event Horizon. At one point in the film, Neill's character gouges his own eyes out, a gruesome scene with a less gruesome story behind it. Sue Rowe, a sequence supervisor for the movie, told VF's blog in 2017, "My favorite shot in the film was of Sam Neill with his own eyes gouged out. Used a cheap flatbed scanner to scan a cabbage leaf and a raw steak combo to make the interior eye sockets. One day my mom came to the office to see what her little girl was up to in this new crazy film industry and she saw us working on this shot," she continued. Charlie was adding blood pulsing out of the eyes. She ran out of the office screaming. Five. Joaquin Phoenix transformed into the Joker for the namesake film. Joaquin Phoenix played the title character in Joker. In 2020, he won an Oscar for Best Actor for his performance. Batman's iconic villain has a memorable look, a dark twist on clown makeup, with a too long smile. But Phoenix's transformation wasn't only in the makeup chair, he also lost 52 pounds for the role. In 2019, Phoenix spoke about his weight loss experience on Jimmy Kimmel Live, saying, "In the beginning, you're exhausted. You look at a flight of stairs and it takes like 30 seconds. You have to talk yourself into it and say, I can do this, I know I can do this."
It's in his head.
What you think of as pain is only a shadow. Pain has a face. Allow me to show it to you.
6. There's a real person under the Pinhead makeup, Doug Bradley. Doug Bradley played Pinhead in writer and director Clive Barker's Hellraiser. The villain is the leader of a dangerous group called the Cenobites. Special effects makeup artist Bob Keane and his team collaborated with Barker to come up with what would become one of the most iconic horror film characters of all time. But the brainstorming process wasn't simple, as the team had to consider their budget restraints. Keane spoke to Daily Dead in 2017 about the process, saying, "Originally, Pinhead wasn't like he is now at all. He was much more like the character Shuna Sassy in Nightbreed. I was looking at this and going, Clive, we can't do this on this budget." That's when we came up with this drawing of a grid on a life cast. Clive looked at the grid and decided he really liked the symmetry of it, so we left it in, he added.
I've waited a long time for this, Andy. And I'm gonna enjoy it.
7. Ed Gale added physicality to the terrifying doll, Chucky. Although Brad Dourif voiced the horrifying doll, Chucky, Ed Gale was the actor inside the costume in Child's Play 2, and Bride of Chucky. Gale stands at about 3 foot 4 inches, 10 inches taller than the Chucky doll. To compensate for this difference, the crew built oversized replicas of the set to seamlessly transition between the dolls and Gale's scenes. Who did not participate in Child's Play 3, talked to iHorror in 2015 about the importance of his role. Regarding the third installment, Gale said, "Chucky could not move as freely. They were relegated to moving the camera to give the illusion of Chucky moving, hence it being the least successful of the franchise."
This way. Hello.
8. Bonnie Aarons played the demonic villain in The Conjuring 2 and The Nun. You may recognize Bonnie Aarons as Baroness Joy von Trocken from The Princess Diaries duology, but she's hardly regal in her roles in The Nun and The Conjuring 2. With sunken eyes and sharp teeth, Aarons' character is the terrifying villain of both films. Her performance unsettled viewers as well as cast members. The Nun star Thaisa Farmiga told CinemaBlend in 2018 that Aarons' costume was pretty terrifying. "I have to admit, there was a time or two when we were filming in these dark castles. And Bonnie is in full demon nun garb, hair, and makeup, and I had to ask her to just step away for a moment," she said.
We are Venom.
9. Tom Hardy played the Spider-Man villain turned anti-hero. Some viewers debate whether Venom is a villain or anti-hero, but Tom Hardy, also known for his work in The Dark Knight Rises and Mad Max, Fury Road, brought the role to life in the 2018 release, Venom. Entertainment Weekly reported in 2018 that Hardy's son was a fan of the comic book villain, which made Hardy all the more eager to accept the role. He also told EW that he marveled at the character's design, saying, "As far as Marvel characters, I have to say for me, Venom looks to the coolest." That sounds a bit shallow, but I appreciate that he has a kind of brazen swagger and a zero foxtrot attitude. 10. Several actors have played Leatherface, but Gunnar Hansen was the first. Gunnar Hansen originated the role of Leatherface, the murderous villain in the slasher film, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Possibly more iconic than Leatherface's nightmarish mask is the weapon he wielded, a roaring chainsaw. In 2015, Hansen told USA Today that he had never used a chainsaw before the film. He said, "It was a live saw. During the night chase, I slipped and fell with a fully functioning saw. Plus, I had a mask on that I could barely see out of. So, I was lucky because it landed beside me." Hansen died of pancreatic cancer at 68 years old in November of 2015. And that's it for today. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button, and see you in the next video.